for Oak House. Welcome to the first council meeting of the new administration. So can I please remind you to ensure that phones and other devices are on silent, that banners, etc. are not permitted and members of the public are not allowed to address the meeting, to use the microphones which are available for addressing the meeting. If you haven't used this before, you press the button on the right, it'll glow red like mine is now, and then when you've finished, press the button on the right again, and that you may be filmed or recorded during this meeting. Thank you. So please all stand for the chairman.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the meeting. Could we remain standing while my chaplain, the Reverend Massey, leads us in prayers? Thank you.
We commence this meeting by giving thanks for the life of former Councillor John Stocks, who sadly passed away. In a time of silence, remember the service given by him to this county. And now let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather together today, we ask for your spirit of peace and unity to be present amongst us. Help us to put aside any personal agendas or differences and work together in harmony towards our common goal. We trust that with your guidance and grace, we can work together effectively. May our words be filled with respect for one another, and may our actions reflect the goals we strive for. Father in heaven, we ask for your wisdom as we begin this meeting. We acknowledge that we need your wisdom and insight, and we welcome your presence here with us. Guide us in our discussions and decisions, helping us to seek what is best for all involved. We trust in your perfect wisdom and ask that you would direct our meeting according to your will. We trust that with your guidance and grace, we can work together effectively. We ask this in your holy name, this day and always. Amen.
Thank you, Paul. Please be seated. Right, well, good morning, and it's been rather busy since our last full council meeting in March, and I'm not just talking about the election. And I welcome all new and returning members to what really is a good and respected council. As I've said at previous meetings, despite the politics and theatre that sometimes occurs, we must never forget that we're all here to serve and represent the residents and businesses of Nottinghamshire. Since our last full council meeting in March, I have carried out 15 civic and formal events. A highlight in April was welcoming Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, the Princess Royal to Nottinghamshire, when she visited Torre Textiles in Mansfield. I was especially proud to launch the VE Day 80th anniversary commemoration display at Thoresby Hall. It's very important we mark these moments in our history, and the exhibition has started to tour the county. Firstly at Nottingham Show at the Newark Showground, a wonderful day in perfect weather, and it was also at the VE Day service at Southern Minster. These final events mean that I have carried out 107 civic events this year, which seems to have gone very quickly. These, of course, are in addition to the several committee and other meetings at County Hall each week, and the day-to-day and evening work that we all do, whether in our own divisions or around the county on outside bodies and groups. It's an honour to be the chairman of the council and, in effect, the first citizen of Nottinghamshire, which is my home county. It's also a delight that when you attend somewhere with a chain of office, proudly showing, people are generally very happy to see you. And we know that's not necessarily always the case. Some people think it gives magical or special powers, this chain. I was asked several times that, now you're chairman, could you sort out this issue, sort that road out, etc. Well, I had to explain that sadly, it doesn't work like that. And I've given brief explanations as to how local government does work. I said at the beginning of my term that I hope to visit and attend events all over the county in each borough and district. And I have visited areas of Nottinghamshire that I was not previously familiar with, and I intend to visit again in my own time. And we have a wonderful county that we should all be proud of, and I know we are. We also have wonderful people. I have met so many this year, and in particular, who often unsung and unrecognised get on and do things to make their areas better for themselves and others. It would be hard to list them all, because there's always a risk of missing some names off and accidentally offending people. We don't want to do that. Now, personal highlights for me this year include being involved with 2 royal visits, the aforementioned visit of the Princess Royal, and also the Duke of Gloucester when he visited in March to unveil and lay wreaths at the new Commonwealth plaque at the county's War Memorial. I must also mention my civic service held at Southwell Minster. What a thing. If someone had said to me years ago that I would be taking a lead role in a service there, I wouldn't have believed them. It was a very special day, and it was lovely weather as well, which is a bonus. And it's also been a privilege to work with the Lord Lieutenant, Deputy Lieutenants, and High Sheriffs of Nottinghamshire. I have taken part in 11 citizenship ceremonies this year. These are held at registry offices around the county, where we welcome people from all over the world who have applied for and gained British citizenship and have made their homes and lives in Nottinghamshire. These ceremonies are very special, and their stories and backgrounds are often fascinating and humbling when you hear of the literal and figuratively long journeys taken. The ceremonies are followed by dozens of photographs being taken of the new citizens, proudly standing next to a picture of the King and the Chairman and the Lord Lieutenant's Deputy on the day. And I can only imagine how many mantelpieces our photographs are on. I mustn't forget the role of the Vice Chairman, who is there to support the Chairman both at meetings like this and attending other civic events should the Chairman be already booked elsewhere or having to hide in a dark corner. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often. Well, it hasn't so far, so, but no, I'm very grateful to Jono, Councillor Lee, for being my Vice Chairman this year and taking part in events on my behalf. Other thanks go to the civic team here at the County Council, who do a sterling job in telling us where to go. Now, that doesn't sound very good, does it? But no, they do, because what happens is they receive the numerous invitations that are sent to us, to the Chairman and Vice Chairman to attend various events. And they meet with the Chairman and Vice Chairman every week to look at and plan the diaries. And my thanks go to Sarah Ashton and also Mikolai Gessler, who only started his civic officer role at about the time I became chairman. And I'm happy to report that all arrangements have been absolutely spot on and have all gone to plan. One other person who deserves my sincere thanks is not usually involved with councils and local government or politics, and we've just heard from him. This is the Reverend Paul Massey. Paul is the priest in charge at All Saints Church Copgrave, my local church, and several other churches in his parish. He's a very busy chap, is Paul, and I'm so grateful he's taken time to be my chaplain this year and is with us today. And Paul has led us in prayers at the start of each of my full council meetings. And I think I was honest with you, Paul, when I first spoke to you, asking if you'd like to be my chairman, and I told you what the role entailed. And I also distinctly remember telling you what a great bunch of friendly councillors we all are. And I hope you agree that that was the case. So, Paul, as a token of my appreciation, I have a small gift for you. So, if you would like to come up to the dais here, I'd love to present you with a little gift of thanks. It's certainly, that's it, yes, that's a gift, yes. Well, Paul, thank you so much. So, as a token of my appreciation. Thank you very much. And one thing that often happens at these meetings, you'll find as the months and years go on, is every now and again people come up for gifts, awards, and things, and so lots of photographs are taken. So you have to get used to that. So you'll find people walking along and gathering in front of the dais here and having the photos. That's the nicest bit of the job, it really is. So we're nearly there. So finally, this time last year, I announced that my chairman's charity for the year was going to be Headway Nottingham. Now, Headway Nottingham provide help and support to patients and their families following head and brain trauma, whether that's due to accidents or medical incidents such as strokes. It's been a pleasure to meet Charlotte and Rihanna, other staff, volunteers and patients at their premises and at various events around the county. One of my final events last week was to visit them again, and I presented a cheque for £4,728.49, which was raised through various events such as race night, supper and chairman's quiz, both kindly hosted by Trent Bridge Cricket Ground, staff quizzes and raffles with huge support from local companies and suppliers. And also, I must also mention as well, thanks to the numerous £10 fines which are issued to members whose mobile phones rang during council meetings. So you have been warned. We have this little unofficial policy that if your phone rings during a full county council meeting, then the chairman's charity is very grateful to receive a £10 donation. So just warning you, really. Well, advise, no, I'm not warning you. I'm advising you. It's a great thing to do, and but it's been lovely to do bits for the charity, because as we all know, charities do have challenges, and I really have been touched and moved at the work that Headway in particular do, seeing the help they give to their patients, sometimes in very difficult situations. So. Thank you to colleagues past and present who put their trust in me to be your chairman for the past year. It's been hard work, but it's been so very rewarding, and it's probably one of the proudest things I've ever done. So we now move on to the election of chairman for the... You know, I really ought to read the script, shouldn't I? Sorry, I do beg your pardon, yes. Councillor Lee, I forgot to invite you to speak, so if you would like to say a few words, please. Councillor Lee.
So the vice chairman doesn't normally get to speak. There's usually a good reason for it, and it's not because I'm always in trouble. It's because the vice chairman would normally become chairman. However, I knew taking this role as vice chairman, I was not going to be chairman. That was an agreement when I accepted the position that I didn't want to be the chairman. So I would ask everybody today to vote for the chairman and vice chairman today. I will be supporting them. Don't feel sad for me. I knew I wasn't getting the position when I accepted. It's been an absolute pleasure today to be able to talk and to thank the chairman, because I've been so busy this year. Me and the chairman have done more this year than any other chairman before us. We seem to have been constantly busy. I've had, on average, 3 different things a week representing the chairman. The chairman has also been very, very busy. So taking this role isn't a jolly by any stretch. You are representing the council. And I would ask all the new councillors, you need to make sure you are representing and supporting your vice chairman and chairman, because they will be really busy. They will need all your support, because it is not an easy task whatsoever. The other thing that I would say is these meetings and being here is really important, because we are here representing our residents. It's not a rubber stamp exercise, these meetings. They are the public to be able to see us as the opposition holding you to account, and for you to tell the residents in a public forum what you are doing. Not having meetings behind closed doors about us being able to challenge you and you being able to defend your actions. And it's really important. And I'm hoping we don't go down the route that district and boroughs, where everything is done behind closed doors. It's about being public, it's about us being able to ask you questions, it's about motions, it's about that transparency. And I would like to finish by thanking everybody that has supported me and the chairman, from Sam and Bruce and Chris Barnfather, who isn't in, everybody else, and the team. And I would like to say I wish you two all the best, the chairman, vice chairman. I wish you all the best in your year. I really, really do. And I mean that with sincerity. And if you ever are in Boulderton, please let me know. I'm happy to come out and have a cup of tea with you and support you when you're over there. And all the best.
Thank you, Jono. And another tip is to read the running order of your script here, so you don't miss anything else, which I just did. So I'm sorry about that. So we now move on to, I need to ask for nominations for chairman of the county council until the annual meeting of 2026. And I call Councillor John Doddy. So Councillor Doddy.
Thank you very much, Chairman. It gives me a great pleasure to move Jan Gould as our next Madam Chair of Nottinghamshire County Council, as long as she hasn't been frightened off by Councillor John O'Lee and the amount of work she's had to do. We told her it would be easy, but once she puts on the magical chains handed over by Councillor Butler, and those powers come with those chains, I think she'll have a great year. I've known Jan Gould for 30 long years, and we've worked together in the community. We've put on outreach events throughout the whole of Stapleford. We've put on dementia days for carers. We've put on days for mothers and babies. We've put on Nordic walking events. We've set up working clubs. And I know that her heart and soul is being out there in the community as an ambassador, because she's done that for the last 20 plus years that I've known her. She's been a mayor. She's been a Brookstow, a borough councillor. She has all the qualities that's necessary to be a fantastic chairperson for the next year, and I am delighted to nominate Councillor Jan Gould.
Thank you, Councillor Doddy, and I would ask for a seconder for the, if the motion is seconded, so I'd like to call Councillor Mick Barton, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to second that, please, and reserve the right. That's all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And do we have any other nominations? It's always a worrying moment, isn't it, when there's no other nominations. So I need to put the motion to the vote. So please can we have a show of hands? Those in favour, please show. Thank you. I think that's unanimous. But for the record, is anyone against? No, and no abstentions. We do. Oh, sorry, we do. I'm sorry, I didn't spot you. So just to confirm, are you you're abstaining? So Councillor Carr and Councillor. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't see your hands go up. So, but thank you for that. So we've taken the vote, and I declare that Councillor Jan Gould has been elected Chairman of the County Council until the annual meeting in 2026.
Declaration of acceptance of office. I, Janice Gould, having been appointed to the office of Chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Good morning and welcome everyone. I am honoured and grateful to stand before you today, and it is with great humility that I accept the position of becoming Madam Chair for Nottinghamshire County Council. This is an accolade I could never have dreamt of receiving. 1,000 thanks for placing your trust in me and I will not fail you. It is only days ago that I first set foot inside County Hall. I was awestruck, first by its imposing structure, and secondly, its history. Meeting the folk working within that iconic building was a pleasure. Each one always on hand to help and support with smiles and goodwill. It was then I knew this was where I truly wanted to be. My years and experience as a borough councillor have laid the foundation and given me the confidence to work at county level. I am indeed truly privileged and blessed. As I move on, I want to tell you about my chosen charity. It is Pulp Friction. What is more, we are fortunate enough to have two representatives here with us today, Albert Ward and Chris Emmott. Pulp Friction is a social enterprise supporting learning disabled and autistic people to develop their work readiness and their social and independent skills. I urge you all, when you have a spare minute, to read more on Google, and I guarantee you'll be amazed at the wonderful work achieved and its story. I should also add that throughout most of my life, and particularly as a councillor, I have made it my business to shine a light on some of the unsung heroes and heroines who make our communities better places to live and thrive. I will always lend support and encouragement where I can. Moving on, I want to thank Russ Olding for once again agreeing to serve as my chaplain. He guided and supported me through my mayoral duties at Stapleford, and he will keep me on track as your chair. Many thanks, Russ. I think you're up there somewhere. A further thank you to my deputy chair, Christopher, whose patience and support is very much appreciated. Thank you. And I must give a quick mention to my husband, Ken. He's been my stalwart and support through 55 years of married life. He has the patience of a saint, and he deserves a medal for his perseverance. Thank you, Ken. Finally, my promise to members and all others in the chamber is that I will carry out my duties with the utmost care and respect, abiding at all times by the 7 principles of public life: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, leadership. And I'm truly looking forward to a very full and busy year. Thank you. I now call upon Councillor Sam Smith to move that Councillor Richard Butler be thanked for his work as Chairman of the Council during the last year and be presented with a past German's badge of office. I call upon...
Thank you, Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment. I look forward to working with you in the year ahead. Members, it is a real pleasure and a genuine honour for me to offer this vote of thanks to our wonderful outgoing Chairman, Councillor Richard Butler. Richard, you've been an outstanding and brilliant Chairman over what has been a particularly busy year at times and a challenging year. Leading this council through an election period is no small task, but you did so with calm, steady leadership and good humour. Your ability to keep meetings respectful and focused, regardless of the politics of either side of this chamber, says a lot about why members regard you, and more importantly, the public, the kind person that you are, Richard. You've been everything that a chairman should be. You've been fair, you've been balanced, you've been approachable, and you've always listened, Richard. You've reminded us that although there are often different views in this chamber, what unites us all is our commitment to the people of Nottinghamshire and those that elect us. That message has resonated time and again throughout your term, Richard. Outside of this chamber, you've done a superb job representing the council across the county. You've attended over 100 civic events this year, which is a huge undertaking, and you have done so with energy, warmth, and your trademark good humour. You've shown people right across Nottinghamshire the best of local government, and you've been a real credit to this council and the role of chairman. I, Richard, have had the pleasure of attending some of the events with you this year. We reopened Hucknall Library together, which is a brilliant example of investment into local services from the Conservative administration and something that will make a real difference to the community there. And I think you even tried out your ukulele skills. I have the photo on my phone if anyone wants to see that at lunch, and that is something you'll have even more time to carry on practicing now you're not chairman. We stood together, Richard, at the embankment for the moving ceremony of the unveiling of the new Commonwealth plaque on Victoria Embankment. That was led by His Royal Highness the Duke of Gloucester. The event was a powerful reminder of the sacrifices made right across the Commonwealth. And then, of course, there was our big visit to the big house in Edwinstowe, a fantastic afternoon celebrating their 10th anniversary. It is an incredible place, providing vital support for children and their families. That Alice in Wonderland tea party was great, and it highlighted yet again the strength and compassion found in communities across the county. On top of all this, Richard, you've also raised an impressive £4,500 for your chosen charity, Headway Nottingham. Your fundraising efforts through race nights and raffles, although I would raise a point of order that I won at neither of those, Richard, and yes, thanks to Keith and Noel in Democratic Services, those now infamous quiz nights. Although I do think it's time that the comms team were beaten at those and their streak of winning 2 years on a row comes to an end under your chairmanship. Your civic service at Southwell Minster, Richard, your involvement in 2 royal visits and your role in welcoming new British citizens to our county throughout the citizenship ceremonies are moments not only marking a proud year, but leave a lasting legacy on this council. Richard, on behalf of the whole Conservative group and hopefully the whole chamber today, I thank you. You've been an absolutely fantastic chairman and an even better ambassador for our council. Your calm authority, good humour and genuine commitment to public service have left their mark on us all. I hope you now get a well-earned break from the demands of the chair, though something tells me that you won't be slowing down anytime soon and you're already busy doing the casework of a local councillor. Ladies and gentlemen, members, please join me in offering a sincere thanks and warmest appreciation to Councillor Richard Butler, who has been ably supported by Councillor Lee throughout this year. Thank you very much.
I call upon Councillor Bruce Loughton to second the motion.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. It's Lawton, just for the. Yeah, I've been called a lot of things in my time, but that one. Yeah, I'm seconding my friend. Yeah, you can have some spare time on you. Yeah. Richard. Many people who know Richard well, he's got the driest sense of humour I know. He's an absolute gentleman. And and we have one common interest, and that is vintage cars. And the only difference being my proper vintage cars, he is the treasurer and the chairman of the DAF Appreciation Society, DAF Owners Club. Sorry, I apologise. And he writes the newsletter. And always brings me a copy. It's a bit dry, the reading, but there we go. And so he'll be able to spend some more time polishing his DAF. Used to own 2 actually at one time. I a regular contributor to your chairman's charities. My phone keeps going off. But it's something that you know that is a nature of this. You've had a big year, Richard. You've done really well, mate.
In fact, I'd go so far as to say you're the best chairman that I've come across. This is our 7th term. We first elected in 2001. We both walked through the door together with John. And he has done a sterling job. And he's used all that experience as well. As he's visited all the places in Nottinghamshire, he's used those experiences to the best of his ability, and it stood the council in good stead. It was 2 years ago, actually, just over 2 years ago. Well, actually, it was 6 months before that. So it's 2.5 years ago. I was the individual that persuaded him to stand as vice chair. Took a lot of doing. I said, "You'll do a good job, Richard. You'll do a good job." And he was umming and ahhing, because he was then chairman of the planning committee. And look what a good job he's done. Yeah, and we all appreciate it. And you've managed to control what was a difficult environment. You've also managed to control me as well, which is even more difficult of an environment. And you've done it. You've done it, as I said before. You've done it with good humour. With good humour. And nobody in this chamber can fall out with that, man. It's impossible. You just can't do it. So well done, Richard. You deserve your retirement, but you've done one good thing. I've known chairmen in the past that the final 4th year of the civic event who have lost their seats because of all the work that they have done over the previous year. What you've managed to do is win your seat back again with a really good majority, and also serve your community, which is you would be applauded for. It would be remiss of me, while I'm standing, Madam Chairman, not to mention Jono. Where are you, Jono? Jono is, we're both military personnel together. Jono was a member of what was originally the Duke of Wellington's battalion. So, and I've been Jono's mentor now. How long, John? Jono, 3 years. 3 years. We talk regularly on the phone, and it's always difficult. It's always difficult when you lose a council and you are vice chairman and you don't get the main prize. So I wish you all the best, Jono. I'm sure that you'll be a part of an active opposition at County Hall, and we look forward to holding reform to account. You've done a really good job, Jono. I've been getting messages back from all over how they appreciate all the effort that you put in on behalf of the residents of Nottinghamshire. So thank you very much on behalf of the Conservative group, and thank you very much on behalf of the council as a whole for all the work that you put in over the last year. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
I will now call any speakers who have indicated to speak. So, Councillor Doddy, please.
Yes, thanks very much, Richard. It's been a fantastic year, and the magnitude of the man is that I've never heard anybody other than say lovely things about you from the moment I came into this county council. I think that yourself and myself were looking at some of the portraits, and I was going back, and I got back 14 portraits, and then I realised that was the time I arrived. And then we went round to look at your portrait and stood looking at it for a little while, and you're a part of history. And I wouldn't disagree with Councillor Lawton, looking at the people I've known as chairman, that you were as fine a chairman as we've ever seen. It was a really tough year, and it was not just because it was an election year. It was a year of hostilities. It was a year where sometimes language and behaviour defied the imagination. You couldn't believe that you were actually listening to it. But on the top, you were serene, and you kept everything beautifully calm. You had one incident and some councillor, just some nutcase, got up on the chair and started to rant and rave. Did you? I noticed that you put in that request to put the wheels on the chairs to stop it happening again. But that's the type of chairman you were. You thought ahead, didn't you? And I thought it was a great pleasure having you as the chair. And congratulations to Jono as well on his year. And thank you very much.
I now call Councillor Garland to speak, please.
Thank you. I'd just like to say I've known you since the very first meeting I was ever at as a councillor at Rushcliffe as planning. You're always a very wise and friendly chair, and thank you very much.
I now call Councillor Neil Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and if I could add my congratulations to your appointment as Chairman of this Council, and I hope you have a very successful year. I just wanted to add, but not repeat, to the comments that's been made by Councillor Smith and Lawton. I just wanted to add that Richard has been just such a fantastic chairman. His calm way that he has acted all the time, even when meetings have got somewhat feisty. I don't know if Councillor Doddy remembers who it was who was standing on the chair, but in very testing times, Richard has coped with all those so well. But comment was made, I think, by both speakers that they referred to his retirement. I just need to qualify that slightly because it's only semi-retirement, because he's got so used to wearing these chains of office that only this very evening he will be taking up another chain of office as Deputy Mayor of Rushcliffe. So he wants to continue carrying on, and I'm sure he will continue doing such a great job. But I hope sincerely that you will remember this fantastic year you've had for the rest of your life and the many memories that have gone with it. So well done.
I will now call Councillor John Clark.
Madam Chair, is that correct way you want to be addressed? Congratulations on your appointment today. And I rise just to thank the Vice Chair and the Chairman. I have a lot of work with Richard. Now, you've got to realise we're politically poles apart. Well, not poles apart, but we actually work together for the common good. And I throw that across the chamber. That's what we're here to do. If they want to battle out in Westminster and do all that with Farage and the rest of his team and Starmer and I've got your leader's name now. Baldwin, yeah. Let them do it down there. This is for our local people that we work for. And Richard is exemplary of that. I've served on many committees with Richard and he's been an excellent person. And particularly in one or two when Dr. Doddy jumped around which was quite entertaining, wasn't it? Quite entertaining, but he handled that well. And then there was a bit of a spat between Jason Zadrozny at the last one, which finished up with him being taken out of the room and having a word with. It's a bit like a referee or a school teacher telling you something like that. But no, I've got nothing but admiration. We may be politically apart, but when we're on something, we're on the Fire Authority and many other things, we've worked together and we've worked together for the community. So thank you very much to both of you.
I will now call Councillor Carr.
Thank you, Chairman. Chair. How would you like to be?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair. All right, lovely. Thank you, Richard. A fantastic year for you. It's always extremely difficult to chair a council as big as this in the run-up to an election, and it proved very, very challenging at times, not just for you, but for officers as well. And but you did it in your usual good humour and calmness, and I shall always remember that as a blueprint for a future chair. And thank you very much for keeping my then group in order because it was a little bit like herding cats at times. I miss you as chairman because I think that, you know, this could be a challenging council as well at times as well. Thank you.
I now call Councillor Cullen.
Well, I get up slowly. Madam Chair, a newly elected councillor, you might think I don't know Councillor Butler, but in fact, in Councillor Butler's year as Vice Chair, I was in fact the Mayor of Broxtowe, and we found ourselves at a number of occasions together. So I wanted to rise to say thank you for your service and that you were a great advocate for the county at any occasion that I found myself with you. Very friendly, very easy, and even though our politics are very different, very friendly, very easy to be with, and you did a really great job. So thank you for that.
I will now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? A show of hands, please. I declare the motion is carried. Can I now invite Councillor Richard Butler to come forward and receive the badge? Item 2. It's appointment of Vice Chairman. So I call upon Councillor Richard Darrington to move the appointment of Christopher Adagoke as Vice Chairman of the County Council for the ensuing year.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It gives me great pleasure to propose Chris Adagoke for Vice Chair of our great Nottinghamshire County Council. I believe Chris will bring a valued approach, and I think it will be immensely active within the county, working alongside you for the civic events that you will both be attending. No doubt he's going to be very, very busy, as you are, but I'm sure collectively you together will work as a great team. Now, I've not known Chris for very many months, but he's very infectious. He's got an infectious laugh, and that smile is just amazing. So it gives me immense pleasure to forward to Chris to the position. And I, as I say, I think he will fit in really, really well. The only thing, Madam Chair, that I will say, that over the few months that I have known him, maybe that we could collectively get him a new timepiece. That's the only thing I will say. And that is light-hearted, and we do have fun with it. So thank you very much, Madam Chair, and may I propose Chris as Vice Chair.
I call upon Mick Barton to second the motion.
I will gladly second that, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Are there any other nominations? I will put the motion to the vote. So all those in favour, please, a show of hands. I think that's unanimous. Are there any against? Any abstentions? Yeah. 2 abstentions. So I declare that Councillor Christopher Adegoke has been duly appointed as Vice Chairman of the County Council. Please come to the dais to make your declaration of acceptance of office, your acceptance of office.
I, Christopher Adegoke, having been appointed to the office of Vice Chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfill the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. Thank you.
So I think we're going to hear a few words.
To my fellow councillors, family, and constituents, I am deeply honored and humbled to accept the position of Vice Chairman of Nottinghamshire County Council. I extend my heartfelt thanks to my fellow councillors for the trust and confidence you have placed in me. It is a privilege to serve in this capacity, and I approach this role with gratitude, humility, and a passionate sense of responsibility. I would especially like to thank my dear spouse, Emma, and my family and siblings for their unwavering support, patience, and encouragement throughout my journey in public service. Your love and understanding has been the backbone of my ability to serve. I am also profoundly grateful to those who have stood by me from the very beginning, from the campaign trail to this significant milestone. Special thanks to Councillor Richard Darrow, who gave me a little stool, a little table that I used to, set up shop somewhere in Hucknall West and many places and talk to people. It was brilliant. Thank you for Sean. Thank you, Ron, interim chair, Reform UK Sherwood, Pastor Nelson, Pauline, Denise, and Barry, Mark, Sarah, Sue, Graham, Andy, Mandy, Sally, Bro Sam, Barry, and Sandra. These men were my men on the road who were leafleting through homes and many streets, dark and even during the daytime. And I'm so grateful. And many more dedicated constituents and supporters whose efforts and belief and faith in me have helped bring me to this very point. I step into this new role. I reaffirm my commitment to serving the people of Nottinghamshire with dedication, fairness, and integrity. I look forward to working closely with Madam Chair, Councillor Jan Gold, the Cabinet, Council Executives, and all councillors to promote good governance, accountability, and positive outcomes for all our communities. Thank you once again for this tremendous honor you've given to me. I am very, very grateful. And thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Item 3, election of leader of the council. I call upon Councillor Martin Wright to move the appointment of Councillor Mick Barton as leader of the council.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and congratulations on your appointment. I won't even try and follow the Vice Chairman's speech, but I'm here today to propose that Councillor Mick Barton become the new leader of Nottinghamshire County Council. I've known Mick for over 20 years and worked closely with him for 18 years. He's a workaholic. He will lead with determination and skill. So I do move that Councillor Barton become the new leader of Nottinghamshire County Council. Thank you, Chair.
I call upon Councillor Barry Answer to second the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Congratulations on your post and hope you have a successful year. It gives me a great pleasure to second the motion. I've known Mick a long time and I think he'll make a great leader. And thank you very much.
I will now put the motion to... Oh, are there any nominations? Any other nominations? I will now put the motion to the vote. All those in favour? Show of hands. Any against? Any abstentions? Then that is unanimous. I declare that Councillor Mick Barton has been appointed as leader of the council. Congratulations. Councillor Barton, you may address the chamber.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Thank you to everybody in this chamber for having faith in me. I shan't let anybody down. Thank you to my colleagues for your kind words. I'm a very passionate community person, and that's always at the front of everything I do as being a councillor. Now being a leader, it's a privilege and an honour to have been voted Nottinghamshire County Council leader. I won't let anybody down, including my fellow Reform members, indeed all members of this council chamber. I also want to thank all the residents across Nottinghamshire who have given me and all the Reform councillors a mandate to make positive change where needed across the whole county. The people have spoken and we are ready to take the reins and improve things again where it's needed for the better. I'm very proud of all my fellow group members and I know we have the skills, passion, knowledge and expertise to deliver changes in the forthcoming months and years. I have obviously met the leader of the Conservative Party yesterday morning. We had a very good meeting. I'll speak to anybody in this chamber, and just to let you know, I am going to be operating an open door policy. I've always done that as me when I was a cabinet member and a deputy mayor in my district, and I think it's important that we all work closely together. Yes, I know you've got to hold me to account, and I accept that, and I will do that to the best of my ability. But I do operate an open door policy, and yesterday I took all the locks off, so because you stood at the end of the corridor for 10 minutes waiting, we had a meeting. So all that's off now, so you will be able to get up to where we are in the cabinet, and I think that's how we should operate for the next 4 years. So I truly believe in all our values as well, as obviously Reform members, and I'd like to finish on, I truly believe in family, community and country. Thank you.
Item 4, County Council elections. I call upon Councillor Mick Barton to introduce the report and move the recommendations.
I'd like to propose and put forward the motion that's set in front of us as it is set out in front of us. Is that right? Thank you, Madam Chair.
I call on Councillor Dr John Doddy to second the motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Robert Louis Stevenson said, books are a mighty bloodless substitute for life. And so it is that mere numbers on a page don't represent the sheer change that has occurred in the council at the present moment. I think it's an opportune time with a certain amount of nostalgia to look back and say that there are many people who for 4 years worked extremely hard here, many people who did the best for their communities and many people who worked fantastically well within the organisations of County Hall, who through the reality of elections are not back here today, and it's nice to just remember them and thank them for the work they've done. I'd like to thank particularly Scott Carlton for some of the great work he did in mental health and suicide, and Tracy Taylor for some of the fantastic work she did around children and SEND, etc. So as we look back nostalgically and say, people have come and people have gone, I welcome the class of 2025. That is you, and I look forward to all of us working together for the better of the people of Nottinghamshire. Thank you.
I will now open the debate. And Councillor Smith, I think, would like to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. And may I congratulate Councillor Barton on becoming leader of this great council and thank him for our meeting yesterday. Like Councillor Doddy, I don't think we'll be agreeing much in the next 4 years, but I'll just agree with what he said there, Madam Chairman. I'd like to thank him for the tribute he paid to my hard-working former Cabinet colleagues. And like Councillor Doddy, I'd just like to pay tribute, Madam Chairman, to hard-working Conservative colleagues right across the county who were unfortunately not re-elected at this election through no fault of their own. But I'd also like to congratulate everyone in this chamber on getting elected to this council. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's a huge honour to represent the people of Nottinghamshire. And I know everybody in this room will do it to the best of their ability. I'd just like to take a moment, Madam Chairman, if I may, to reflect on the Conservative administration that I was really proud to lead and that I hand over this council, what is an outstanding council and well-managed council, to reform. We Conservatives had a really proud track record of getting things done. And Andre Camilleri, if he's listening at home, we haven't forgot his slogan, have we? And we delivered on local priorities. And that's probably why we're the biggest Conservative opposition group in the country, because of doing so. And the local priorities that we delivered on, and I hope the new Reform Cabinet take forward, is that the Conservative administration never closed a single library right across the county. We put record amounts of funding into repairing the roads. £72 million is what we allocated in February, and there is hundreds of resurfacing programmes on roads and pavements right across the county that will take place as a result. We have really good quality care that you're inheriting, and there are thousands of people right across the county who rely on our hard-working social care teams to go to their homes or go to the care homes and look after them, and we are rated good by the CQC for doing so. SEND is a problem right across the country that needs addressing by central government more so than local councils. But do not underestimate the improvement journey that this council has gone on under this Conservative administration through Councillor Taylor and Councillor Bradley, who worked extremely hard to get those improvements going, and they're underway, and you inherit an improving SEND service. We have a thriving youth service right across the county, and when you go out in your communities, you'll see them in community centres right across the county. That is something the Conservative administration, year after year after year, protected and invested in. And I hope you continue to do so, because that's not the same right across the country. If you go to other county councils to save money, instead of doing the hard work and improving services and delivering them better, you call it Doge, I call it transformation. Instead of doing the hard yards with that, they close libraries and they close youth services. And I tell you who gets worse off for that. It's the people and the residents of those counties. And the Conservatives said no, 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 year after year, budget setting after budget setting. I'm really proud of it, and I hope you continue to say no to that as well. And we did all that, Madam Chairman, whilst keeping council tax low. The Conservatives never increased council tax by the maximum, and over the past 4 years, that saved the residents of Nottinghamshire £22 million. And contrary to all the leaflets that many of you in this room delivered, and the residents of Nottinghamshire received, can I just make it absolutely clear for the record, we never borrowed a single penny. To do all that good, proud track record I've just set out, we never borrowed a single penny. So the debt did not increase on Conservative watch, and in fact, Madam Chairman, we increased spending on core services year after year after year. The schools, the adult social care, the libraries, the youth service, or the roads, the funding went up year after year on our watch, £60-odd million last year alone, Madam Chairman. We hand over a very good council. The people have spoken right across Nottinghamshire. Politicians listen, and that's democracy. And we hand over a very great council to the incoming Reform administration. There'll be times in this chamber that we don't agree, and believe you me, we will be holding you to account on everything you do, because that's what the opposition does. We will be a very active opposition, Madam Chairman, not because it's a hobby, it's because that's what the residents of Nottinghamshire deserve. They deserve us to be asking you on what actions you have taken, and they deserve us fighting hard to protect the libraries, invest in the schools, build new ones, expand others, build the SEND schools that we've already started, and much, much more, and make sure the people of Nottinghamshire receive the services they deserve. So congratulations on your appointments and on the election. We hand over a very well-run council, and do not let anybody tell you anything different. If you want to look at a bad-run council, go over the river to Nottingham City, where they're closing all the libraries and the youth services, and they've gone bust. And that's the difference between well-run Conservative councils and failed Labour ones. We wish you well, and we do hope you'll continue that proud track record. Thank you very much.
Councillor Lawton, can I call you to speak?
Yes, congratulations, Mick, on your appointment as the leader of the council. Can I say that you're taking over from a exceptionally good leader who took over from another exceptionally good leader. We had two in a row. During the campaign trail, I did just short of 300 miles in 4 weeks and met an enormous number of my residents. And one thing that came out loud and clear from when I came across people that were going to vote for the leading group within this chamber was that a misunderstanding of what the candidate who was standing against me was actually standing for. It was a foundation which, in my view, was built on sand. I am a great believer in the Nolan principles. And the Nolan principles were a set of principles that were put forward by the Ethical Guideline Committee in Westminster. And it was interesting to talk to residents as I came across one principle after another being broken by reform. And I'm going to mention these principles so that you're aware of them in future. The first one is selflessness. And I'll give you an example of selflessness. Is here today, Nigel Moxon and Andre Camilleri, who represented Mansfield, were approached on several occasions to go over to reform, but they stuck to their principles. That was true selflessness. They could have been voted in, they could have had cabinet positions. They didn't, like many of the people in this chamber today, swap parties, like opening a packet of Smarties. The next one is integrity. The leaflets were being put out by reform. 6 out of the 7 promises that were made were nothing at all to do with this council. That is not integrity. The next one is objectivity. I had to look this one up actually in the dictionary. It is making judgments based on facts and evidence rather than personal feeling or opinion. That fits directly into the information that was being put out in front of my residents. The next one is accountability. Now, in 2005, as John will attune to, the then Labour leader, David Kirkham, removed all the responsibilities and vice chairs of us as a Conservative group. Worst move he ever made. It created an active fighting opposition. Tied to that is the 5th one, which is openness. You've already shown that you do not want openness on the basis you have created a closed shop. The next one is honesty. And this is an interesting one because during my campaign, my opposite number was going around insinuating that Nottinghamshire County Council was bust, had a massive debt burden, when she knew the complete opposite. She was trying to gain votes on the back of misinformation. The last one is leadership. Well, I wait to see, Mick, how you get on with that one. But I will be here holding you to account because what we do not want is a Birmingham or Nottinghamshire for my residents, Nottingham City, sorry, for my residents. The late Andy Stewart used to say you can say, and finally, 3 times. Well, I'm only going to say, and finally, once. And I'm going to read you very quickly a WhatsApp that was sent to me, actually, because my hobby is skiing. It's by my skiing WhatsApp group because they were interested to find out whether I was going to get elected. And one of them put, the English working classes have always been tolerant, but socially conservative.
Councillor, you only have 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay. So, and the Tories have left them. Well, let me tell you, it goes deeper than that. Like Trump, you can pander into insecurities and injustice to solicit support. But you do it at your peril, because it is one step away from anarchy.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. He's forgotten the Nolan principle of sour grapes. Could you add it on to the bottom of it?
Councillor Garland.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I'd just like to acknowledge that we've lost a lot of hard-working, experienced councillors in our group and elsewhere in this council. We really want to thank them for everything they've done. I'm not going to do politics now, but I sincerely believe that everybody who's been elected here wants to do the best for every resident in Nottinghamshire. And we will, of course, be holding the leading group to account to make sure this council works for everyone and is making decisions based on facts and truth as far as possible. Thank you.
Councillor Lee now to speak.
Thank you. Normally, when you become a councillor, they tell you to behave and don't stand on chairs and to keep your head down. However, it's proven that if you stand on chairs and be naughty, you become the deputy leader of this council. It's really interesting that during the election, that you have been elected on promises you can't keep. Now, at another place, I'm also on the opposition at Newark and Sherwood District Council, and it's becoming quite clear now that the controlling group there, that the Independents and Labour, are on their way out. They haven't got the numbers and they are on their way out. And that's because they got elected on pledges they just couldn't keep. And the one thing that I will look at every single one of you in your eyes, because I don't run away from a fight, I don't run away from a challenge, is you've been elected on things you can't keep. You have 18 months, if you are lucky, maybe 3 years until the next election, where you are going to have to look at your residents and go through the list of things that you promised that you were going to do that you just can't keep. Now, the truth is you've already lost one councillor who got elected, who resigned after 6 days because he didn't know the true task of this council. I look forward to sitting on the committees with you because I don't think you have a clue, if I'm honest. With the greatest respect, I don't think you have a clue of what this job entails. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I first got elected 4 years ago, I thought I knew it all. I've been a district councillor for 12 years. I've been around a long time. I've been a parliamentary candidate twice. I thought I knew it all. I knew nothing. And if it wasn't for Bruce Lawson, Chris Baumfather and the seniors we had here being able to hold my hand and walk me through, I don't know where I would have been. And now you've got people with less experience than me that are running this council, running portfolios with billions and millions of pounds of budgets that don't have a clue. And for my residents, I hope I am wrong. I hope I am wrong and you will prove me wrong. But I'm rarely wrong when it comes to politics. I'm rarely wrong when it comes to reading people. I'm very good at reading people. And I do so very, very well. Like when I first met John Doddy, I thought he was a joke and a clown, and I've been proven right. Sadly, he is now the joke and the clown that is the deputy leader of this council. And I will retract that comment, and I apologise, John, for making that comment, because I don't want another code of conduct complaints. However, everybody knows the truth if they saw you standing on the chair.
Point of order, Chair. I know it's your first meeting, but sometimes you just got to rein in the real clowns.
On, John.
Councillor Carr, please. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon. Councillor Cullen.
Madam Chair, Councillor Carr was pointing at me when he put his hand up. New councillor that I am. Councillor Barton, congratulations on becoming the leader of this very great council. My own husband, my lovely, beloved husband, was once the leader of this council, and before that the deputy leader, and he was a councillor for 24 years, and I'm massively proud to have been elected in his same ward to take up the mantle and run with it. You said in your speech, your lovely speech, that the people have spoken. 66% of the voters of Nottinghamshire didn't vote for reform. And in Beeston, the whole of Beeston, said very clearly, no, thank you to reform. So I appeal to you to remember that the people have spoken, but not most of them. And you have to prove that everybody's worst fears are not grounded in any truth. Thank you.
Councillor Carr.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Got it right. Okay. Congratulations to the new leader and deputy leader. And I know John very well. It was my wife's doctor for a while, not mine. All I would say is that this chamber is now a blank canvas, because as people in the opposition Conservative group have pointed out, we weren't really told by Reform what they were going to do if they became the largest party on this council. I hazard to guess that I don't think they actually thought that they would be the largest group on this council, but it happened. And the only things that I've heard of what's been said by your national leaders, Nigel Farage, how many parties has he been in, and Richard Tice. And one of them I've noticed has been implemented already. In that outside we have 3 flagpoles. And we were always very proud and to display our support for other places. And in fact, when Councillor Roger Jackson was chair, his charity was to support the Ukrainian refugees who came over to this country. But I noticed that the Ukrainian flag is no longer there. We have the Union flag. It's not a jack unless it's on a ship. We've got the English flag. And after a lot of hoo-ha about county flags, that's appeared. Why not the Ukrainian flag? Why not display our support for the people of Ukraine under huge, huge pressure and death and all sorts? So, Madam Chairman, I'll probably get into trouble this, but I don't care. I have bought my own Ukrainian flag, and it will sit on the desk in front of me until I am told by somebody to take it away. I support the people of Ukraine. I support Europe. I don't support the American president. And if you think you're going to get an easy time in this council chamber for my group, the Labour group and the Conservative group, then you are deluded. Thank you.
Councillor Walker-Gurley, please.
To everyone who's been appointed today. Sorry, John. Congratulations to everyone who's been appointed to their positions today. I knew that the politics would start. I didn't realise it would start this quickly. I would just like to alleviate anyone's concerns. So the constituents who we're here to serve, not necessarily the other councillors in the room, you don't have anything to worry about. We're all hard-working people. Anything we don't know now, we will know with the support of the council, who have been absolutely fantastic. To this point already, I've been involved with at least 10 issues raised by constituents with my portfolio and within Eastwood. The guys have absolutely been phenomenal. Mick has been phenomenal. Everyone in this room who is part of the reform that I already have met is phenomenal. We will look after you, we'll do our very best, we'll work very hard, and all the rest of it is nothing but politics.
Councillor Kelvin Wright to speak, please.
Madam Chair, hearty congratulations on your appointment. Mick, hearty congratulations on your appointment too. I'd like to thank the opposite side of the House for their words of wisdom. It's truly much appreciated on this side. But you've really got to be very careful when you talk to a significant group of military veterans about selfless commitment, loyalty, integrity, discipline, and perhaps most importantly, moral courage. And I would remind you that moral courage is standing up and doing the right thing when even that might not be the most popular route of action. So I genuinely thank you for your words of wisdom, and we agree selfless commitment is crucial. Many of us on this side, and in fact I believe a couple on the other side, have gone through Sandhurst, our Royal Military Academy. Other variants exist in the Navy and the Air Force, so I'm told. The motto of Sandhurst is serve to lead. And until you're actually in a position of leadership, you never really quite understand what that motto means. This side of the house truly understands what serving to lead actually means. Make no mistake. Yeah. On this side of the house, there is a huge wealth of practical life experience, and that's what we bring to the people of Nottinghamshire. And finally, so I don't run out of time, we always hear the moan, usually from the other side of the house, about how this is about local issues and not national issues. We agree, but it's the people that raise the national issues, and it seems to be from this morning, the other side of the house that keeps returning to national issues, not this side. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well,
Just a Madam Chairman, point of clarification. I don't know the councillor's name, but I wondered if he could clarify to the chamber if he is one of the few that didn't deliver a leaflet across the county council that said vote reform and stop the boats. Can you clarify that, please?
Very happy. I walked 100 kilometres of work, stop delivering leaflets.
No, I'm sorry, but you don't get to ask questions across the chamber like that.
I get to ask clarification points, and that was a clarification point. It says it in the agenda pack.
A point of clarification, Madam Chairman, to make. 1979, I did a year at Sandhurst, just to make you aware.
Right. I call on Councillor Mick Barton for his right to reply now, please.
I don't like Punch and Judy politics, but since you've started it, I'll reply to it. Councillor Lawton, I've been a councillor, this is my 23rd year being a councillor, and I also believe in the Nolan principles. And the honesty bit, what you've just said, I take exception to. You've mentioned 2 councillors in Mansfield. I've got a lot of respect for Councillor Moxon, and I also know Councillor Camilleri. I can categorically tell you they have never approached to join reform. So I think you need to go back to them and clarify that with them. Just while you're on leaflets, and yes, I've got some leaflets, I've got some in my case. I'll give you one after, it's a riveting read. Because in my ward, 3,000 people, 3,700 people decided that that leaflet, actually, they liked what was on it and they voted for us. Look at this side of the chamber. This is what we put on our leaflets, and it weren't all national stuff, it was mostly local stuff. But yeah, we put national stuff on the back page, same as the Conservatives do. But let me tell you that one of your Conservative colleagues who you've just mentioned actually put on one of his leaflets back in January, February, that he agreed with a lot of reforms policies. And that's on a Conservative leaflet, which I have at home. So you started that, we'll end up finishing it. As I say, there's 39 of us got elected, and Councillor Lee, I take exception to what you said as well, because you said we haven't got a clue. I can tell you now, we have got more professionalism on this side of the chamber than this chamber's probably ever seen.
Yes.
We all come from professional, professional backgrounds, both business, we've got 2 doctors, we've got a lawyer, we've got health professionals. The list is endless. Yes, council is different, but we bring life skills. And I'm going to be proud and privileged to work with all these people. And I hope you're going to be standing up in a few months' time, and I know you will because you're a gentleman, and you will say, actually, I retract that, Mick, you were wrong. I hope you do that, because we're going to prove that to you. Councillor Cullen. Yes, I will work with all parties, and I will gladly speak to you about everything you've mentioned, and I will do that. Councillor Carr, I'm not offended by flags. We've decided to put the 3 representative flags up for county. If you want to come and see me about the Ukrainian flag, you can, but there's a policy in place at Notts County Council, and we're adhering to that policy. That's me finished. Thank you.
Standing order 8.8, clarification. There were 40 Reform councillors elected on the 1st of May, but there are now 39.
Yeah. Well, thank you. This to note report has been received by the Chamber. Item 5, recognition of members and officers of groups. I call upon Councillor Martin Wright, who will move the recommendation in this report.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Sorry. Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, after the nastiness, we should resort down to business. I move that members note the content of the resignation and the recognition of members and officers of groups report. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
I call upon Councillor Dr. John Doddy to second the motion.
Yes, I'm delighted to second the motion and just reiterate the statistics of Reform UK having 61.9%. We must be doing something right.
We must be.
I don't know. If that's the result that clowns get, I'll celebrate clowns every day of the week. And then there's a few other parties. But just to mention that this is just for noting anyway. Thank you.
I will now open the debate. There are no speakers. I call on Councillor Martin Wright for his right of reply.
Nothing more to add, Chair.
So thank you. To note, this report has been received by the Chamber. Item 6, minutes. Chairman, can I ask Council to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
Sure, please.
We need a show of hands.
That'll do. Thank you. We will say a bit of it later.
Thank you. Item 7, apologies for absence. I will now ask each group to provide any apologies. Please ensure reasons for any apologies are also provided. Councillor Martin Wright.
Thank you, Chair. I have 4 apologies, all for other reasons. That's Councillor Richard Ward, Councillor Wendy Lukac, Councillor Daniel Sabin, and Councillor Kevin Dale. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Wheeler.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chairman, and may I congratulate you and the Vice Chairman on being elected to this council in your roles and wish you a successful year. We have no apologies. Thank you.
Councillor Clooney.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations on your appointment. We're all present and correct too. Thank you.
Councillor Carr.
No apologies, Madam Chair.
Item 8, declarations of interest. If any councillor or officer has an interest in any matter on the agenda, you should declare it now. Please raise your hand now if you have an interest to declare. When called to speak, you should state what type of interest it is and give brief details.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. I have a non-pecuniary interest in the question on photovoltaics because I am a trustee of a trust which has interest in photovoltaics.
Chairman, item 9, Chairman's business. So now, former County Councillor John Stocks. We have received the sad news of the death of former Councillor County Councillor John Stocks. John Stocks was a long-standing member of the council, representing Calverton from 1989 to 2001 and Arnold North from 2001 to 2009. I'm now inviting members to say a few words about former County Councillor John Stocks. Councillor John Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a tribute to John Stocks, who was, as you said, Labour Calverton North. He was elected, and that was in 1989, 93, 97, 2001, 2005. So you can see he was a really good servant of this council. And he was also, there's none of this, banter that's been flying about. He got on with the job. He was chairman of Resources Committee, that was 1993 to 2000. Cabinet member for Human Resources in 2000 to 2006. Also a cabinet member for People and Performance 2006-2009. He was married to the alderman, one of our honorary aldermen, the Honourable Joan Taylor, MBE. John was a popular and valued member of Nottinghamshire County Council. He worked hard both at County Hall and for the community he served. I would like to send our sincere condolences from the past and present members of the Labour group to Joan and the family. I'd also add, Madam Chair, is that a lot of, we had this last night, we lost a Tory member, Conservative member, Lorraine Brown, from Gedling, and we were remarking on the work she'd done last night. And Sam, and lots of other people said some really good things, are very pertinent things that we need to do. We need to let people know, apart from, you get a bit of scrap every now and then, but we are working for the community. I'll bang that all the way through for the next 3 or 4 years, whatever on here. We are working first and foremost. It's not about you. And this man did this, and as with Lorraine last night, did it. She worked hard and fast for the community. She dropped the politics. We got on with the job. Sad loss for this council, and a sad loss, obviously, to his family. Thank you very much.
Councillor Lawton.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chairman. I just rise to say a few words about John. John was, for want of a better terminology, a truly selfless individual. He was an extremely, even though we were completely different political divide, he was always, he always had a kind word, and it was an extremely good councillor. He couldn't do anything better, anything more, because he was married to Joan, and Joan was also very formidable. And so I'd just like to recount a story, actually. I was the parliamentary candidate for Gedling in the 2010 election. Unfortunately, I was selected 3 years in advance of the camp. So I was running the campaign for 3 years. So I thought I'd turn up to the Gedling area forum, which John chaired, and I walked in and started creating a little bit of havoc, as I always do, and he threw me out. He threw me out of the meeting, and I learnt he was not somebody to be crossed, and so he will be a sad loss. And I used to catch up with him quite a bit, actually, after he was at the council, and we all sat down and had a coffee and a chinwag, and he was always interested in what you were doing, which is a real positive as far as any human being is concerned. I will say that it is a skill. It is a skill to ask how you are, how the other person is, and what they're up to, and extract all the information out of them. It makes you feel important, and John was one of those exponents. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Councillor Upton, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. Some of you may know I worked at County Hall as an officer in property for 35 years till I retired in 2010. And during those years, I had a great deal of contact with John Stocks. I found him quiet, calm, thoughtful. He would assess various options calmly and treat you with respect. I had great admiration for him. I enjoyed working with him, and I was saddened when I heard of his passing recently. So my thoughts are with his family. And I did meet the Honourable Joan Taylor on many occasions with him. We used to have visits around the county to various properties and assets, and it was a joy and a privilege to work with him over those years. So thank you.
Councillor Carr.
Thank you. John was a councillor when I was first elected in 2005, crikey, 20 years ago. And there were some real firebrands on the Labour front bench in those days. David Kirkham, Stella Smedley, who we loved to bits, even though she'd really tell you off if you did anything wrong. And but John was the quiet one. He was thoughtful. He was, you know, you're well respected, really well respected. I was very, very sad to hear about his death, and commiserations and condolences to Joan and the family. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Members, as this is my first meeting as chairman, I would like to take this opportunity to remind members that I expect good debate and good behaviour in this chamber. And I expect all members to follow the Nolan principles, which I spoke about earlier in my speech. Thank you. We will now break for lunch. Oh no, we won't.
Lunch will be approximately. You're hungry?
You will not break for lunch. No, I'm not hungry. We will break for lunch at approximately 12:30 p.m. today. So we now move to item 10.
A lot of reading.
Right. Constituency issues. This item gives members who have previously given notice by the deadline the opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes on any particular matter relevant to their constituencies or any particular issues arising in their electoral division, which is relevant to the services provided by the County Council. This is an opportunity simply to air these issues in the council meeting. It will not give rise to a debate on the issues or a question and answer session. Members are reminded that there is a maximum time limit of 15 minutes for this item on the agenda, and each member may only speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. I was notified of 3 requests to speak by the deadline, beginning with Councillor Richard Butler regarding actions of Vistry Home in relation to Nottingham, Tollerton Airfield.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and again to confirm my congratulations to you and also to the Vice Chairman on your appointments. Have a fantastic year. I'd like to talk to you about Tollerton Airport, which is also known as Nottingham City Airport, which is in my division. The airfield opened in 1929 and served as RAF Tollerton during World War II, and it remains a vital part of the region's aviation heritage and community life. Daily, light aircraft and helicopters fly in and take off, both for business users, helping the local economy, and flying enthusiasts. It's also used as a rest or a refuelling base for the Lincolnshire and Nottinghamshire Air Ambulance. It has a history for being an airbase where people could learn to fly. It had flying schools, and many commercial pilots worldwide started their careers at Tollerton. The site also has buildings and hangars to store, service and maintain aircraft, and importantly, houses businesses that are not necessarily involved with aviation. Businesses that provide employment opportunities for local people. One of these businesses is, or should I say was, a very popular cafe called Chocks Away. This was set up a few years ago by a constituent who did what many people like to do, taking on board all the risks as well as opportunities this brings. The cafe proved a success and was very popular, with people of all ages regularly visiting to enjoy refreshments in the rural surroundings alongside the airfield, where people would love to watch the in-air and the on-the-ground activities. It also proved popular with pilots while their aeroplanes were being refueled. So why do you think I'm talking about Chocks Away and the flying activities in the past tense? This is because Chocks Away and other businesses are no longer there. They have been forced to close, meaning facilities, services and jobs have been lost. The reason for this is because housing developers have given notice for them to leave. They have submitted a planning application to Rushcliffe Borough Council for several hundred new homes. Now, I realise the pressure that councils are under from government to facilitate the building of more and more new homes. But as we all know, before you can build one house, let alone several hundred, you need planning permission. And this is something that is not in place for the Tollerton Airfield site. No decision has been made by the council to grant or to refuse permission. Now, whilst some of the area has been proposed as potential strategic housing and development sites as part of the Greater Nottingham Strategic Plan, Rushcliffe has been very clear that it will not make planning decisions for the area until a much wider master plan has been submitted by relevant applicants, partners and agencies, and these include Nottinghamshire County Council, the Highways England, Highways Agency, and many more. This is a very long process and no one knows how it will develop. In April, a week or so before the County Council elections, a group of people visited County Hall to hold a demonstration and protest. These were the Save Tollerton Airfield group, and I came along to meet them. They want to save Tollerton Airport, not just because of what it does and offers, but also to preserve the site for its historical, educational, community value. So really, I just want to say as well, adjacent to the airfield is land owned by this authority, by the County Council, which may or may not be made available for potential development. But I would also like to confirm that during the time of the Conservative administration, no decision was ever taken to agree to the sale of that land. And I'd finally like to say well done to the Save Tollerton Airfield campaign for their sterling work. They really do know their stuff, and I wish them all success with their campaign. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Well done.
Item 2, Councillor John Wilmot, regarding highways issues in his division.
Thank you very much, Chair, and congratulations on you becoming Madam Chair, and also congratulations to the new Vice Chairman on his appointment. Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman, for the opportunity to speak today. I'd like to raise several important concerns that continue to affect our community in Hucknall. First, I would like to bring your attention to the Baker Lane Brook wall along the Inner Relief Road in Hucknall Town Centre. As many of you are aware, this wall was vandalised many years ago and has since become a target for repeated acts of vandalism. The state of the wall had deteriorated to the point that it posed a real hazard, especially to young people who may be playing nearby. Now, lo and behold, just before the election, it was repaired. Now we look at Hucknall, because Hucknall takes pride in keeping our town centre clean and welcoming, not just for our residents, but for the many visitors who come here. Yet this eyesore stood for over 3 years as a glaring contradiction to our efforts. At least work has now been completed, even if it was an election gimmick. Next, I want to address the derelict land beside Titchfield Street. While we appreciated the efforts made last year to tidy it up, the situation has only worsened since. The area is now cluttered with discarded fencing, which only adds to the blight of our town. Our residents deserve better than to be subject to such neglect. I also want to highlight the hazardous fencing around the ranges off Coronation Road. For some time, it has been hanging precariously over the nearby pavement, creating a serious safety risk. I urge you to consider the safety and well-being of our residents and make immediate steps to repair this dangerous eyesore. I also hope that we work with the police and the Ashfield Community Protection Team in stamping out the drug taking and distribution of drugs taking place on the ranges and the surrounding area. I would like to bring the attention to this council to the state of some of our pavements and dropped curbs in my area. Some are in a terrible state and we need a full inspection as soon as possible to determine what work needs to be done. Finally, I want to raise a concern about the parking problems outside my schools in Balliol Fields, the National Junior School and Lean Mill Schools. both in the morning and in the afternoon at the start of school and at the home time. I'm now receiving letters from pupils as young as 9 saying they do not feel safe walking to school because of inconsiderate parking near the schools. They are asking, or they are crying for help. All these problems are not insurmountable, but they do require attention and action. By addressing these issues proactively, we can make Hucknall a safer, cleaner and more attractive place for everyone who calls it home. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Councillor John O'Lee.
Thank you. I stand up to talk about the draft local nature recovery strategy for Nottingham and Nottingham City and how it will affect my community of Boulderton Division, where I was lucky enough to be re-elected for the second term. The strategy will go on by Nottinghamshire County Council from the 6th of May to the 16th of June. I would advise you all, if you don't know about it, take a look at it and how it will affect your community. I will be fighting to include Lawfield Lane, Middlebeck, Bangkok Quarry and Boulderton Lake in this strategy, where we need to look at how we can increase the nature of our communities. As we know, we have national strategies now set by Labour that will increase the housing in our community, in Newark and Sherwood in particular, by an extra 500 houses per year. And we need to make sure that we are protecting all our green open spaces and the connected corridors and the paths that we look after and the routes in our communities, like the Southern Link Road, where we put money into protecting that and bringing that forward, and the Slushstands track. At the moment, we have seen Newark and Sherwood District Council develop Lawfield Lane after they got elected to protect green open space. We have seen Boulderton Parish Council neglect Boulderton Lake, where they have been elected to protect. The fishermen cannot use it. And I will be working with partners at the District Council, the Parish Council, and putting pressure on them with my residents to make sure these are included in the strategy. Because where the District Council and Parish Councillors will not protect our green spaces, I'm hoping that this draft strategy will encourage our landowners, our councils, to come forward and think more about green strategies. Now, I know some on your side got elected to maybe cut money. I would ask you not to cut money in our green space and strategies. Something that you will learn is that planning, we don't really have an input in planning, it's the districts and boroughs, but what we do have is be able to put pressure on our districts and boroughs and parishes to protect the green open spaces that our residents love and protect. And I can assure you that when it comes to planning that you don't have an input on building on your green open spaces, it will then become a passion of yours. And I look forward to working with my residents in protecting our green open spaces, making sure that Nottinghamshire County Council include Lawfield Lane, Boulderton Lake, Middlebeck and Bangkok Quarry in the strategy. And thank you for your time, Chairman, and congratulations to you and the Vice Chairman in your positions.
Item 11 is the presentation of petitions. I was notified of 4 petitions by the deadline. May I just remind members that there is 1 minute time limit for the presentation of each petition, and there is a maximum time limit of 15 years for this item.
15 minutes.
Sorry. 15 years. It feels like it. So sorry. So Councillor Steve Carr.
This is going to be a long 15 years.
To present. Please present.
I have 3 petitions which are all closely related. Late last year, after years of campaigning for a residents' parking scheme on Peville Road and Kenilworth Road in my division, they got a partial residents' parking scheme. I did at the time point out that what will happen is that the people that used to park where the residents' parking scheme is now will move. But nobody listened, and that's exactly what they've done. So there are 3 petitions here, one from residents on the part of Kenilworth Road that isn't covered by the residents' parking scheme, one from residents on Carrisbrook Avenue, and one on for Pedwell Road, which again is only partially covered by the residents' parking scheme. The problem is something that nobody else in this room will have, which I have, is large student halls of residence for the university. And the students have cars. And even though they're told not to bring them, they bring them and they park on the roads for weeks at a time. Thank you very much.
Councillor Liz Clooney, please present your petition regarding speeding in Porchester Gardens.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair. The people in Porchester Gardens area of Mapley in the Arnold South Division have signed a petition supporting a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit in the area. Vehicles are driving at speeds in excess of what is safe on those roads in that area. This is dangerous for road users and pedestrians alike, and I think would be a real benefit to the area. So, as I promised during my campaign, I will present this petition to the council. Thank you.
I ask Council to resolve that the petitions be referred to the appropriate Cabinet members for consideration. A report will be brought back to the Council in due course in accordance with the standing orders. Is that agreed? Can I have a vote on that, please? You'll now be very pleased to hear, I hope, that we're going to have a break for lunch. Okay. It could be 15 years, but back for 1:30. Back for 1:30, please.
Thank you.